one of my questions, I was listening to I don't know how recent the interview was, but I was listening to an interview that you did on Jim Cornette's podcast where he jokingly called you Patient Zero for Vince Russo. So you brought him in, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Vince was a guy who ran a couple of video stores on Long Island, and I was introduced to him by one of the listeners of the show, and he started advertising his video stores with me in the middle of 91, and then he wanted to get deeper involved in wrestling. He had a journalism degree, and his video stores were beginning to go under because Blockbuster Video was taking over the market. So, he convinced me that we should be partners and do a newsletter and then take the show to a much bigger radio station in New York City. But Vince and I just had a really cool chat on Pro Wrestling Spotlight. I brought him back to analyze what we did 30 years ago and how we got into the business. And back then, we really didn't quite understand each other. I mean, he wanted to cover the wrestling business for the entertainment value. He had no idea about all the inside stuff I was covering. So it was kind of a partnership that really shouldn't have never happened. And ironically, we never even talked about all of this 30 years ago. We talked about it now. So in episode 7 of the Pro Wrestling Spotlight podcast, Vince Russo was on, and we kind of go over how the origin of us working together. And then in 92, that's when the split up happened. So Vince is somebody that I didn't talk to for many, many years. We had a really bad public, not a good breakup, partner-wise, and but we kind of made amends at the end of 2018, and now, I am in a good place with the relationship.
That's always good to hear, because there's so many people that hold so many grudges in the wrestling business, and especially with Vince Russo.
Yeah, he's polarizing. Cornette is polarizing to a lot of people, but Jimmy is one of the best at what he does. He's an entertainer. He's incredible. Just a genius, a historian, and just one of the true legends of the business. And I love listening to his podcast. It's 2 podcasts, actually. I just enjoy them very, very much. And Jim was a friend of mine years and years ago, and the only thing bad he could really say about me is that I brought his nemesis into the business.
Oh yeah, and it's always entertaining, hearing the bickering back and forth between the 2 shows, even though it's almost like in the territory days when you knew 2 guys in completely different territories were never going to meet. And they would keep taking jabs at each other on TV. And it's like, it's just talk, because they're never actually going to get face to face,